Sometimes you can go into a space and it's too much wood.
Right.
So people need to know how to mix them, how to mix different wood facades, and when you need to add something else in to break it up a bit.
Right, exactly. So as you can see, there was a lot of wood in that kitchen that we did, but by layering different materials in, then you can break it up. So it's okay to mix in different wood species and wood stain finishes. So I guess the good news is there are really no rules now when it comes to matching your wood furniture to your flooring. There's a lot of options available, and it's actually more so not to be too matchy-matchy these days. So it makes it easier.
Everyone's mixing it up. So let's start with this piece here and how you might pair that.
Right. So I wanted to show you this piece because there actually are two different wood finishes on the drawer and on the frame of the cabinet. So you can really see that that is something that's trendy, how they're mixing the different woods just in this piece alone. And then when we're mixing it with a wood floor, again, like there's not a rule in terms of what this piece should mix with. However, by layering it with a carpet, you break that up a little bit. So I think sometimes there can be too much wood, but by adding a carpet, you give a more layered effect, and then you can really use any kind of finish together.
Yeah, I do find sometimes when it just looks like too much wood, it just tends to look a bit dated.
Right, and it could feel a little bit cold and austere as well. So by layering it with a carpet, you're breaking up the wood finish, but you're also making it feel a little bit more furnished.
Absolutely. Okay, what about this funky chair here?
Now this wishbone-inspired chair is really quite modern, but you see how I've mixed it with a very rustic wood floor, and that wood floor is very light, and the stain on this is very dark. So you can see how, again, like mixing the different wood finishes, absolutely. And because this chair is very lightweight and it's mostly wood, I've added a carpet to give it a little bit more of a furnished feel. So you could have this on its own with the wood, but it might feel a little bit too austere and very modern. So by just layering that carpet, you can add another element and really give it a more layered look.
Really nice. And if you're wondering about any of these pieces, they're all from LT?
Yes.
They're gorgeous. Okay, how about this, like upholstered piece?
Right. Now, by showing you a more upholstered chair, you can see that you really don't need the carpet underneath it because the upholstery is adding to the weight and scale of the chair, and it's also adding a different element. So even though the wood frame of the chair is different than the wood floor, we're still able to mix it up a little bit because the upholstery is also adding another element in there.
However, as you said, rules were meant to be broken, and there are no rules, so you could add a carpet if you wanted to.
So you could add a carpet and add a little bit of color or a little bit of pattern.
Still really nice.
Yeah, and still looks great. So this upholstery will make the room feel more furnished. It gives you a little bit more options too in terms of mixing the different woods. So for example, I say there are no rules, but there are sometimes things that just don't work. So if you had a rosewood furniture piece that's very red, for example, you might not want to mix that with more of a yellow toned oak floor because they would clash. So if you were using the two in the same space, putting a carpet in will help break them up, so it will make it work a little bit better. But there are certain things you might want to stay away from, but really mixing and matching is where it's.
And you can pretty much tell by eye when you've gone too pink to like orange and red fighting. It's not gonna feel right for you. Right.
Now here we've shown a more traditional look. So this is where the wood floor and the legs are very similar tones. So again, you can still mix it. It gives a more monotone tone, but then the chair is more fully upholstered as well. So you're getting a lot of upholstery. So even if the legs and the floor didn't match, the leg element on this chair is such a small piece that it wouldn't have to match the floor. But again, breaking all the rules, you can still match it if you want.
Right. I love the fact that there's been so much freedom now in decor, and people feel that they can put anything they want together.
Absolutely.
And just have your personality shine through.
For sure. I have my great-grandmother's dining table, and it's oak. It's very weathered. I love it. But I also want a more contemporary feel than that. So I've mixed it up with different chairs. So by adding maybe black leather chairs, you can give it a more modern feel, but still, again, mixing the woods in.
And then a gorgeous carpet if you want to pair it.
Absolutely, and give a more layered look. So again, when you have a piece that's more upholstered, you don't necessarily have to add a carpet to it because this piece will have more weight on its own, but adding a carpet just gives it that other element too.
Yeah, you get that comfy, cozy feeling too, right? Thanks so much, Stace. Let's go to break. We've got more coming up.